Alright, bro, we got chapter 4, the last chapter of this full guide. Now, in the first chapter, we talked about the fundamental techniques in handling people, which are very simple. Just don't criticize, praise, and just look at the other person's point of view. In chapter 2, we talked about how to make people like you, 6 ways to make people like you. And in chapter 3, we talked about how to convince other people. You know, how to win people to your way of thinking, right? Now, chapter 4 is all about how to be a leader. How to be a leader and how to change people without arousing resentment. So how to change someone without threatening him. Because there are 2 ways to change people. There are only 2 ways. You can either go to someone and point a gun at his ribs and tell him to do something, and yeah, that will change him, but it will make that person absolutely frightened and scared and probably never want to be around you again. And the second way is to just be friendly and change people in a friendly way that makes them feel important while they are being changed. Like, I'm gonna just give you an example before I get onto this chapter. Or a story. So there was this story, this, lifelong story, right? It's about the wind and the sun. So it's like this, like imagination, kid's story, right? But it's a really nice story that will help you a lot in your journey on how to have the best social skills ever. So the wind and the sun, they had an argument, right? They had an argument on which of them can make a guy sitting on a bench take his coat faster. So the sun was like, I will make that guy take his coat faster. And the wind was like, no way, I'm the wind, I'm strong, I can do this. So the wind started, and the wind blew really, really hard, pushing the trees away, getting sand all in the old man's face, right? And it was just so strong, the wind. And not only did it make the guy not take his coat, it made him even hold his coat even more. He just held his coat even more because of how strong the wind was. But then the wind calmed down, and the sun slowly came up and was shining bright on the old man. And the old man simply just took his coat off and relaxed. And this is an example that always treating people in a nice, friendly way is always better than treating people in a hard, criticizing, offensive way. All right? So, without any further ado, the last chapter, how to be a leader, how to change people without arousing resentment. Alright, bro. The first thing is begin with praise and honest appreciation. Always begin with praise and honest appreciation. This is what a leader does. This is how to be a leader. A leader doesn't put people down, doesn't show people that he's better than them. No. In fact, he praises people on the smallest things, and he always begins with praise and appreciation on everything he sees the pack does. So always begin with praise and honest appreciation. Because we all love being praised first, or having the good thing first and then the bad thing. We all love being praised first and then criticized. But no one likes being criticized and then praised. It doesn't work. Like, for example, if I went to you and I told you, or actually I'll tell you a story. So one time I was going with one of my friends to the gym, and I've been in the gym for a while. I know how to train, I know how to use the squat rack and all that. It was leg day. And my friend, it's his first time ever barbell squatting. So I was like teaching him the things and how to squat properly. So he held the bar, he went forward, and he was squatting. It was okay, but he wasn't going all the way down. You know those like partial reps? So my first instance, the first thought that I had in my head is I should tell him, hey, you should squat, go down even more, go down more. But I noticed that he was doing fairly well. He was really trying. So what I did was I did exactly this. I told him, your form is really good, and right, we'll get into that in a moment. But I told him, and if you go just a little bit deeper, your form will be perfect. And his face just brightened up, and he was like, yeah, of course, I'll try again. And he actually got the squat really well. So always begin with praise and appreciation. Always see the good things in the other person, praise them, and then get onto what you want to criticize. And even when you criticize, you have to criticize in a bit of a strategic way, which I'll talk about in a moment here. But always praise with the good points. Hey, you're such a kind person, and hey, you're such a, you have nice shoes, and if you fix your shirt, you would look amazing, right? Just always begin with appreciation. Like, people actually, if you praise people and then criticize them, they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll fix that, right? Versus telling someone, hey, you look bad, right? Of course he's gonna hate you. So always begin with the good points. Always begin with praise and honest appreciation. Alright, bro, the second thing is call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. And this is what I was doing in the first chapter. And this principle I absolutely love because it is so simple. The way to do this is to simply just replace two words. Just instead of always saying but, always say and. So instead of saying but, always say and. So instead of saying go to the gym but you have an unhealthy diet or a bad diet, say I'm really happy that you go to the gym, and if you fix your diet and you start eating healthy, you would have amazing health. That's how it should be. Always replace but with and. Like this, you could do this with anything. Like instead of telling someone, you're good at reading but you read way too slow, just say, hey, I'm really happy that you're reading, and if you read a little bit faster, it will be easier for you and you would be a superb reader. You see, I'm always just praising and praising and praising. And I'm gonna give you just a bit of a lesson here. When people listen to the word but, you can just notice their body language is like, oh man, well, what do I have to do again? Like, people just hate the word but, all right? When you tell someone, hey, you're so good, you're amazing, but that just, it hurts them. Like, people don't like it. I can always notice this in people, right? You can do this with anything, honestly. Hey, those shoes look nice, but the coloring is off. The right way, that's the wrong way. The right way is to say, hey, I really like your shoes, and if you just fix the coloring, they would look amazing. They would be absolutely perfect. Praise, like always praise and then criticism. You notice that the first one is a little bit of praise and a lot of criticism, but the second one is a lot of praise, a little bit of criticism, and then a lot of praise again. That's how you should do it. So just replace the word but with and. Because, like we said, but gives people that that bad reaction, gives people that feeling, oh, what do I have to do again? But and is like, okay, you're just continuing your sentence. Okay, you're going with the flow, right? You're going with the praise that you told me. So of course that's okay, right? So replace but with. All right, bro. That's number 2. So start with praise and appreciation, and then call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. And number 3 is, I love this one as well. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing others. And I love this. This right here, this is true leadership right here. It takes a wise, humble man to do this. Talk about your own mistakes instead of, before criticizing others. And if you realize that I've done this in all of my videos, I do this in all of my videos, literally. Like porn masturbation videos. I used to fap 6 for 6 years. I used to fap, every single day, twice a day, on like the worst porn. I always talk about my own mistakes. In the video, the full guide that you're watching right now, I started with a really embarrassing story of how socially anxious I was. I've talked about my mistakes. In a video like talking to girls, I used to be so shy and creepy around girls. In a video about eating healthy, I used to eat very, very bad food. And it's true, I used to be a total fucking loser who hated his life. Depressed, anxious, and just hated my life completely. So I always talk about my mistakes first before I criticize anyone. And that's what a true leader is. A true leader doesn't always tell everyone, hey, you're wrong, hey, you're wrong, hey, you're wrong. No, he says, I was in the same position as you. I know how it feels to do this mistake, and I will show you how to stop doing it. That's what a true leader does. So in your social circle, or even in your business, you should always talk about your own mistakes first before criticizing others. The way to do this is to always talk about yourself in the past. So when someone does something, you tell them, hey, I used to do this in the past, I know how to fix this, right? Just always talk like that, right? I used to do this in the past, I used to do this, I used to do this. You should always talk about when you used to do this, right? And you notice this in my videos all the time. I used to fap 6 times a day. I used to eat tons of junk food. I used to play hours and hours of video games. I used to, be depressed and hate my life. I used to be extremely socially anxious. Always talk about your own mistakes. I'll actually tell you a story here. So there was this one time, I was really, really young. I was very young, and I was doing this, act. Right, I was like acting. When they make you wear like costumes and things like that, and you act basically. And I used to be extremely shy and socially anxious and didn't really know what to do and didn't really memorize the script. So the act that I did was just so embarrassing, and I was so shy. And I'm gonna be honest, like, people didn't laugh at me or no one really criticized me, but I was just so sad and shy and awkward. Like, everyone just noticed that what I was doing was wrong, and just people were like, cringed, right? So I just felt so bad and so awkward. But then, like a few days after that incident, after that really bad act that I gave, I was in the car with one of, our close relatives, right? And he was driving and I was in like the seat behind him. And I told him the story, I did this really bad act, and everyone looked at me weird, and it was really embarrassing and awkward. And he told me, so what? And he actually told me that when he was a kid, he had exactly the same experience. He told me that everyone who starts acting starts in a bad way. And that just made me feel like, yes, that's what I wanted to hear, right? And that actually motivated me to keep acting in those, classes, right? But of course I stopped, honestly, because I got bored of it. But that's a good example, is that without that guy, without our, he was honestly like my dad's friend. Without my dad's friend, I would have been depressed and sad, because I would have felt like I don't relate to anyone. The reason when you talk about your mistakes before criticizing the other person is so effective, and what leaders do, is it makes you feel like you're not the only person struggling with this, and it makes you feel like, hey, it's okay. Like, yeah, I did this mistake, but it's okay. The other person does it. And it also gives you a lot of influence, because if someone else was in your position, then of course he knows how to solve that problem, right? So that's the philosophy behind it. Like, imagine if you were in a room alone and you just kept getting criticized, you would feel so sad. It would feel so bad, and you would just hate yourself, right? It would just feel so bad. But imagine you're in a room with like 20 other people, and all of you are getting criticized by one person. It would feel like, yeah, so what? Like, when you're in class and the teacher like criticizes everyone, you feel like, who cares, right? Like, we're all getting criticized together, so we've all done the same mistake, so who cares? It's like, because we humans, we love conformity. We always conform to one another. We love feeling like we are relatable to each other. This is what a true leader does. He talks about his own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Number 4, bro. I absolutely love this one. This might be one of my favorite sections, because I love leadership, honestly. I love, studying how to be a leader. Number 4 is ask questions before giving direct orders. This one is so effective, and this is of course what leaders do all the time. And this honestly, like, if you want to get something, this works literally 90 to 95% of the time. 90 to 95% of the time, I swear this works. Now, ask questions before giving direct orders. So what Dale Carnegie means by this is, instead of telling someone or commanding someone, hey, get me this chair, or buy me these shoes, or get me this book, right? You ask questions. So instead of saying, hey, get me this chair, you ask, hey, can you get me that chair? You ask a question, can you get me that chair? And I'm telling you, bro, 90 to 95% of the time, people will tell you, yeah, of course, here we go. Because you're respecting their feeling of importance. You're putting them like exactly like the example I gave is the king and the servant. The servant, when he cannot command the king, he can't tell the king, get me a chair. But if he tells the king, can I get a chair? The king will be like, yes, of course. I know this sounds like so messed up, but I swear, bro, everyone sees themselves that way. Everyone sees themselves as like the king, as like the best person, because everyone is their own hero in their own movie, in their own life, right? Everyone feels like the main character in their life. Everyone feels that they are so important. So you have to, just ask questions. And I promise you, this works all the time. And giving orders literally absolutely never works. So ask questions. Can you get me this book? Can you pass me this bottle, bro? Can you, give me this chair or pass me this chair? Can you? Just ask questions instead of giving direct orders. That's the fourth thing. All right, bro, number 5. Is let the other person save face. Now, what does that mean? What does let the other person save face mean? It simply means don't expose someone. Don't, talk about people's mistakes, if that makes sense. So, if you have a friend and that friend, he told you that he made a big mistake, right? Or he had he did something really, really wrong or really, really immoral, right? Say your friend Bob stole a statue from a store, a small statue from a store. Instead of when you meet others, say, hey guys, Bob, he stole a statue from a store. No, let him save face. Let him save himself. To be honest, I don't really understand this principle. This is the only principle I don't really understand. So if someone, can understand this principle more than I do, you can of course write in the comments, and I will actually pin your comment and heart your comment. Right? Because this is the one principle I don't really understand. Even when I read the book a lot of times, I can't really understand this one that much. But that's just my humble understanding of it. Is don't expose people. Don't, talk about people's mistakes to everyone. That's what I understand. So that's number 5. Now, number 6 is praise. I know there's a lot of praise, but praise is literally 90% of the book. Especially when it comes to being a leader, is you have to praise. Praise, all right? And this one talks about strictly praise. Is praise the slightest and every improvement. Praise the slightest and every improvement. To be a true leader, you have to praise even the smallest improvement and every single improvement. So I'll just start with the slightest. You have to praise the smallest improvement. You have to praise every single small improvement, even if you feel like someone hasn't made that much progress or just a little bit of progress. Praise him. I honestly, a lot of my boys, I'll see them, they look like they go a little bit in the gym, just a slight improvement, but I praise them heavily. I told them, bro, you look like you go to the gym. I'm so proud of you. Look at that frame, bro. Look at them shoulders. Look at the chest. I praise them like I'm seeing a bodybuilder. Because it's not that, this is what most people think. It's not that you get better so you get praised. No, it's you get praised so you get better. People change when you praise them. They don't change so you praise them. See what I mean? So when you praise someone on the slightest improvement, he will be like, oh wow, he praised me on the smallest thing that I did. Let me do that harder and even way better. That's how people think. And of course, every single improvement, every single time you try to, you see someone doing just a slight improvement, praise them. Praise them. I'll actually give you a story. I'm giving you a lot of stories to show you how this works. So I remember the first time I ever bought a bike with no, the bike that has two wheels on the side and it's really easy to use. No, it was like a real bike that you had to like ride, and it had like the two big wheels, right? So, and it was my first time. It was my first time ever riding that bike. You know, I remember I bought the bike at like the bike store, and there was this big like park. This was like there's big park. So me and my dad, we got the bike, and my dad was with me, and he was teaching me how to ride the bike. So you have to balance, you have to push the pedal this way, all that. And I remember the first time I just went like a centimeter and then I fell. But my dad was like, you're doing good, you're doing really good. Push a little bit more. And then I just got a little bit better, and he was like, bravo, bravo, that's amazing. Keep going, keep going. And my dad just kept praising me and praising me. And he would also like, you know, when I would fall off a bit, he would like push me back in, and he would be like, keep going, you got this, you got this. And he kept praising even the slightest improvement, you know. Even when I just walked just a little bit more, he would praise me. And every time I would, you know, ride the bike, he would keep praising me and praising me. And in just a few hours, honestly, I learned how to ride a bike, which most people take like a whole week to learn. I learned it in just a few hours because my dad was praising me. That's the power of praise, right? So praise even the slightest improvement and every improvement. All right, bro. Number 7. Number 7 is give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. This is probably one of the most powerful ways to influence someone. It's not only in the book How to Influence and Influence People, but it's also in the book Influence by Robert Cialdini, which is probably the greatest book on how to convince people. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. This is what Robert Cialdini calls in his book Influence consistency, the consistency principle. Give the other person a consistent reputation. Now, what does this mean? This simply means giving people an identity to live up to. So let's say you want one of your friends to give you like $10 or £10 or whatever. You go up to your friend, and if you just ask him, hey, give me $10, he'll be like, of course no, I'm not gonna give you anything. But if you go to your friend and you're like, hey man, I know you're a really kind person, can you give me $10? That way he is way more likely to give you the $10 because you've convinced him that, oh, I'm a kind person, so I have to give him that, or else I'm not a kind person, right? It's so powerful. You gave him a fine reputation, and you can use this in a Machiavellian way for sure. That's bad and that's not moral, but it's so powerful to convince people. I even use this in my videos as well. Like a lot of times I'll tell you, you know, if I really want you to do something, I'll tell you, hey bro, I know you're not a little bitch, bro. I know you're a fucking man and you will do this. And I give you a fine reputation to live up to. Right? But that's a true reputation. I know you're a fucking man. Like, you've been listening to this video for like a while. You got an attention span better than like 90% of people, right? And you can do this with anything, honestly. Like, I know you're good at reading books. Do you want to read this book? Or I know you love reading books. Do you want to read the book How to Influence and Influence People? You see, I gave you that identity of someone who loves reading books, so you're way more likely to read the book. You see? So give the other person an identity to live up to. Hey, I know you love shoes. Would you like to have this shoe? Hey, I know you want a marker or a whiteboard. Would you like this whiteboard? right? You give people that, identity, right? And that just makes people way more likely to give you what you want. So give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. All right, bro, number 8. And honestly, I'm really fucking proud of you for listening to this entire guide. Like, you're so close to finishing this full guide, and like, you really will have got tier social skills if you apply these principles. Like, I'm really, really proud of you, bro. I'm really proud of you, bro. You've been listening to me ramble for like an hour and like 50 minutes. Probably no one except you is listening to this video right now at this point. So I'm really, really proud of you and happy for you, bro. And you got this, and you will have got your social skills. You will be that popular guy if you implement these principles. All right. Now, number 8 is always make the fault seem easy to correct. Right. I don't like that. Always make the fault seem easy to correct. This is a really, really powerful way as well, is to always make it seem like the problem or the mistake that someone made is easy to correct. I'll actually tell you a story. Like, one time I had one of my friends, and he's like a beginner in the gym. So he was asking me, like, man, when I do like lat pull downs, you probably had this problem. We all have this problem, right? When I was doing lat pull downs, I never feel my back. I always feel like my biceps are working more. So I just used this principle. I told him, hey bro, this is a really, really easy fix to this. And I told him as well, I had this problem, which we said, talk about your mistakes first, then criticize. I told him this is a really easy fix. All you have to do is just, hold the bar like wide, nice and wide, and then pull your chest up, and then you will feel your back more than your biceps. And it worked. He told me that, yeah, thank you, man. It was actually really easy to fix it, and it worked. So always make it seem that it's easy to correct. The businessman that has a really, really massive business and he just makes hundreds of millions of dollars. When one of his employees makes a mistake, instead of criticizing him, he tells him, hey, it's really easy to fix this. You just have to do A and B and C. And that's what I at least try to do in my videos, is I try to make, modern problems in life seem easy, right? Or look easy, or just put steps, right? Just tell him, hey, it's really easy. All you have to do is do this and this and this. Like, you have to try to do this in your business as well. Like, if you have like a YouTube channel on how to get girls, for example, you always have to tell people, it's really easy. All you have to do is just improve your looks, make more money, and improve your personality. Just focus on these 3 things, and you will be the guy who gets girls, who girls are obsessed with. Like, if you have like a reading channel, hey, it's really easy to start reading. All you have to do is just start with 1 page and then increase it 1 week. Make it seem easy. When something seems easy, or looks easy, or looks effortless, people are way more likely to do it. All right, so make the fault seem easy to correct. This is a powerful way to influence people. And bro, the final principle of the 30 principles and the full guide, and I'm really, really proud of you for watching this entire guide, is number 9. Make the other person seem happy about thing that you suggest. Make him seem happy about the thing that you suggest. And this is basically the idea of testimonials, right? It's, you always see like people when they have like testimonials about like a fitness program or something, people are like, hey man, I lost like 20 pounds and built 20 pounds of muscle at the same time, and I just feel so happy. They do this on purpose. They make the people seem happy on purpose. So when you see that person, oh, he's happy, so when I buy that program, I must be happy. So make it seem that the other person is happy about what you suggest. That's a powerful way to influence people, by the way. And the way to do that, of course, is to just use the 6 principles on how to make people like you. Because if people like you, they will be happy about what you suggest. That's really, really simple, right? So make the other person seem happy about the thing that you suggest. Just show people or ask people, like, how do you feel about this? And they will be really happy about what you told them or what you suggested to them. And you post that on your social media or as a testimonial, and it makes people way more likely to buy what you have and make you rich as fuck, right? And that's the last principle. Honestly, bro, I'm just really, really proud of you for watching this entire video. And all I'm gonna tell you is, I know we've covered a lot. We've covered so much, like 30 principles on social skills, but just rewatch this video, or even better, honestly, just read this book. Read the book, read it over and over and over again. Even one chapter, read it over and over and over and over again until you just get these things to sink in your mind. And just keep practicing them, and you will just do them subconsciously. I'm at the point that I can do these principles subconsciously without me even thinking. Without me even thinking I praise people. Without me even thinking I listen to people. I smile. I'm genuinely interested. Right? Because I focused on these principles. And especially because I know you, bro. I know what you want. Focus on the 6 principles on how to make people like you. Because these will get you everything you want. Those 6 principles, which are: be genuinely interested in other people, smile, remember people's names, listen to other people, talk in terms of the other person's interests, and make the other person feel important. Those will get you everything you want. So the best advice I can give you is keep rereading this book. Read this book and then read it again and read it again and read it again. And if you don't have the book, watch this full guide. Watch it over and over and over and over again. And the second thing is just keep practicing. So keep learning and keep practicing. Keep learning, keep practicing every single day with your family, with your friends, with whoever. And you will reach the point where you just do it automatically without even thinking about it. Just subconsciously, you are winning people to your way of thinking. You are making people like you. You have got your social skills. I really hope you enjoyed this full guide, bro. And as always, we're in this together and we're gonna make it, bro. I promise you, we're gonna make it together. Peace, Decker.